Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. We got a lot of movement overnight here. This is going to be an interesting day. Good morning, Roberta. Hey, Neil. What's up, Juan? Adrian, good morning. Well, we had obviously a massive drop on Friday through several layers of support and a bounce up in the overnight session. So we're going to have to figure out what the heck's going on today. Delete all these support levels that we blew through. Yesterday created a huge range, or Friday rather. All right. So now we got Friday's low, the all-time high. You know, nothing like a 200-point range. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Tom. Hey, Julian. And look at all these candles overnight. Like, that's a lot of activity going on. So that should set up for a pretty good day today. We got only a few minutes till the open here. And yeah, no real sense in where we're gonna go right off the bat. Could go either way. Big gap up. Likely the bid will be tested, meaning we'll get a drop at some point shortly after the open. Be pretty surprising not to go test that area after we had such a gigantic move down on Friday. But either way, sitting in a range for the moment. Let's flip over to NQ, see what we got there. Very, very similar. So that's good. That's what you want to see. Both markets doing the same thing. If we can expect the same thing out of the indices, it gives us a much better chance of success. Marking the low there. And also appears to be in somewhat of a range. A little bit more of a bullish bias here, actually. It looks like there's an uptrend that played out, a downtrend that played out, and now we're in this choppy uptrend that might be done. I don't know. Nasdaq does not look as clean as the S&P, that's for sure. So we'll flip back over to the S&P. I like that a little bit better this morning. Morning, Squid. Hey, Ed. Minute till the open, and I'm not too keen on taking a trade right away. Technically speaking, we do have this little uptrend here. It's pretty choppy. We would expect perhaps one more move up, but I'm going to let the market kind of settle down. I think we're going to see a lot of volatility right on the open here, given Friday's action. Good morning, Bill. All right, 5 seconds till the open, guys. Here we go. This could be an insanely interesting day. Hey, welcome back. You picked a crazy day to come back, my friend. After a 7-month break. Great to have a 7-month break. And yeah, you picked a crazy time to come back. The biggest move down in probably since you left, actually. Market's just been creeping higher until Friday. That was the first legitimate drop we've seen. All right, watching the S&P so far. The 21 not holding. Good morning, Joanne. If we get above that 21 and get a nice higher low, I will consider taking a long. But again, the main thing here is going to be letting the market settle in and see what's up. Be a lot of volatility after the movement on Friday, and that's really it. We don't have any econ news to push us around. All right, we're above the 21. We'll see about a higher low. Meanwhile, NQ is not really able to get above the EMA here. Kind of struggling. Things look a little clearer on ES anyway. All right, rejection by NQ was not able to hold above the EMA. Meanwhile, ES still floating up here. And because of NQ's price action, I'm not interested in taking this higher low. Need to see the market start to sync up a little bit. Otherwise, this higher low might be kind of tempting. All right, S&P dropping down and NQ really leading the way here, all the way down to the overnight low. And as I mentioned earlier, this is expected when you have a gap up, especially a gap up after a massive move down. If there are buyers in the market, they're going to want to test the bid. Market's going to go down. And if we get support and start popping up from there, it gives us a lot more confidence in the long side. We'll see how that shakes down. S&P still has quite a ways to go before it even enters the gap. But could certainly consider a short with this move down. We'll look to see what happens on a pullback to the EMA. We'll be watching this pullback really closely. We want to see us come back to the EMA, reject it once, get a second leg of that pullback, and then we'll be looking for a bearish bar right here to go short. Archer, good morning. Archer says small overshoot. Let's see. I can't really get that on my chart. Oh, maybe if I'm super exact with my channel. Could be a tiny little overshoot at the bottom here. But if we get a setup at the EMA, I'm still going to take it. Good morning, Anna. All right, here could be the second entry if if this turns around bearish, but nope, we got a higher high. But with that, the uptrend does look played out. See if we can get a push down below the EMA and a lower high. Liking this action so far, just need that lower high. Lower high not setting up just yet. Ooh, there's a nice bar. We'll take that. Get the stop out of the way though. See if we can get down to a new relative low there. Oh, no, 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 no. Ah! Stopped in profit. Dang it. I had an automatic trailing stop on there. Otherwise, would have liked to hold that for longer. Darn. I guess I shouldn't be upset with a winning trade, but yeah, great setup. Great setup. A little downtrend. Counter uptrend played out. We had a push below the EMA and a lower high. That was super quick. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq is like forming some support here at the bottom of the range. So the Nasdaq was leading the way down. Now it's getting slightly more bullish. If we can get another bar here on ES, I'd consider another short entry. Nasdaq kind of looks like it wants to break down below the overnight low. ES2, pretty weak here. We'll look for a lower high bar. Forming a bit of a range. Now we're getting a push up. Kind of a range within a range here. This whole area. Nasdaq getting that bounce right off the support. We'll monitor that uptrend. If it continues higher, Nasdaq looks really good for a long. ES popped straight up as well. Kind of some rejection at that resistance. Let's see if ES pushes back up through it. Some volatile action, guys. Gotta be a little cautious here. Sellers have not gone away just yet. And be a little careful, guys. The ATR is pretty high, so you'll notice 4 points. Each bar is nearly 4 points, so good time to possibly reduce your contract size. You don't want to be trading, essentially you don't want trades to matter more than they usually do. So typically bars are a lot smaller. You got 4 points per bar. You could end up with some losses that are bigger than you're hoping for. So make sure you're adjusting your contract size, trading with appropriate risk based on your account, based on your performance, all that. Good morning, Future Fits. Welcome to a wild and wacky day in the market. Or YOLO, Tom. That's always an option for sure. Chop continues. There's a huge battle going on right here on whether we continue this uptrend on the daily, or there's follow through on that giant move down from Friday. All right, this little uptrend on NQ looks played out. We had a move up here, break of that channel, new high. Who would expect the sellers to start to step in at some point? ES still going back and forth above and below the 21. Need to see some conviction here. EMA keeps holding on ES. This basically looks just like a gross little wedge. Not a whole lot of edge in a wedge, even though they rhyme. That's what makes it a little tricky. Yeah, best just to let wedges play out until there's a clear trend one way or another. But basically you have like the opposite of a trend. You have higher lows and lower highs at the same time. It's like a coiled spring. You just don't know which way it's going to bounce. Okay, S&P starting to break out of that little range that we had. See if this breakout holds. If we push back down through that, what was resistance, we'll be looking for a double lower high for a short here on ES. If this holds and we push higher, we'll be looking for a larger uptrend. So far, kind of looking like the second option. NQ definitely has that look of a larger trend going on here. Still caught in the overall range though. Steadily working our way higher, and I don't like having to draw a wider uptrend like this in such chop, but it could end up being the case, so we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, we're getting a little push down. Again, we'll be watching for a double lower high if we do start to push back into that range area. So far, that 21 holding and the top of the range holding. Have a lot of room to run here on the S&P all the way up to that overnight high. New high here on ES, so we will switch to that larger trend. And we'll look for a long entry. Yeah, if there was some sellers down at the lows here, they got worked over. Pretty vertical move here, but again, we're gonna wait for the pullback. Could possibly join this uptrend. Nasdaq looks a lot better. It's a nice, clean, tight uptrend. See if we can get a pullback before that overnight high, though. Yes, starting to pull back. For bulls, we do not want to see what we're seeing now, a big long candle. It's better to have more of a gradual pullback, but we'll see how the 21 reacts here. Okay, here's the 21. Let's see if there's any support. So far, not. NQ still hasn't quite touched the 21 just yet. ES, nice bounce above. Could consider a really good looking higher low to take that long. Come on, baby. Get back to the 21 for us. Ooh, looks like it's going to go straight up to a new high. NQ also went up to a new high and didn't even touch the 21 there. Keep getting these pushes down on the sell side. All right, 21 not holding here. And the Nasdaq, technically speaking, the trend has played out. We already had a little break and a new high. So we would expect the sellers to step in. Bias is still a little unclear, so it's not a good idea to take a trade yet. You know, currently we have an uptrend in place. We would want to stick to the long side, unless that's really proven otherwise. There's a close below the 21. Yeah, we're just kind of going back and forth above and below the EMA here. Again, we need to wait for some more confirmation. We're getting basically another wedge forming here. Bunch of lower highs, but also a bunch of higher lows. This is not a high probability area at all. So just be patient here. Just wait. In time, it will be very obvious what the market is doing, and we can join and take a piece of it. But you don't want to be guessing and anticipating like, oh, I think it's going to go higher here, or I think it's going to drop here. Doing that is a recipe for disaster over the long term. Of course, you'll be right every once in a while, but that's not a repeatable edge that you can count on day after day, week after week, month after month. So be patient here, guys. The direction of the market still yet to be seen. The trend that is in play, a little bit unclear right now. So wait it out. Be one of the smart traders that make it. Don't be one of the greedy ones who just want to click buttons and get in positions. NQ still hasn't broken through the 21 yet. And now on the ES, it looks like two legs of this downtrend, right? We had this move down here and a second one right here. So that might be it for sellers. If we get a push above the EMA and some higher lows, I'll be looking to join in that. Matt, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, also along those lines, guys, if you want a free lifetime membership to the Discord for life, forever, consider purchasing the masterclass. It's, I mean, that alone is enough value, but masterclass, 4 hours of consolidated instruction, everything that I've learned over the last 5 years, all into one easy to follow course. Super clear. I put a lot of time and effort to that, and you get a lifetime membership to the Discord. So consider signing up for that. Links in the chat, links below. Can't go wrong. Invest in yourself as a trader. If you're spinning your wheels, keep trying to pass, and maybe you pass an eval and then you fail it, and you're so close to a payout and you can't quite get there. Don't keep spinning your wheels and just buying more accounts. Like, make sure that you have the skills to be successful and actually make a living at this. So that masterclass is a great way to up your skills, to develop yourself as a trader. Countless insights in there, so check it out, people. Pretty strong move up here by the S&P. Buyers are quite engaged this morning. Sam Liu, yes. Yeah, I'm a full-time trader. Jeez, market, will you just freaking pick a direction already? We've now been at this same spot for half an hour. A lot of movement, just not a lot of direction. The Nasdaq just keeps hanging around here. MM, thank you, sir. And or madame. Sorry. Want to assume. Mac is definitely one who has popularized a lot of those things, but he did not invent measured moves. He did not invent second entries. Yes, of course, a lot of what I do is borrowed from him, but he's also borrowed things from Al Brooks, and Al Brooks has borrowed things from others. So there, honestly, there's not a whole lot of novelty in the market. Like, you can repackage things and you can talk about them in different ways, but yeah, there's only so much under the sun, right? And a lot of it is just the same thing recycled. So yeah, I always have said that Mac is one of my influences, as is Al Brooks, as is Pete Stolzers. I'm not claiming to have invented anything myself, and I don't think they have either. All right, we're finally getting a little bit of a move. See if there's follow through to the downside. Wickoff's another one. Yep. Most price action traders have borrowed something from Wickoff. That's for sure. I like this little move down. If we can come back to the moving average and get some rejection, I'd be interested in a short. GAN, yeah, GAN's another one. Wow, what a move. Sellers got trapped this morning. Looks like buyers are getting trapped now. Man, my goodness. Pretty dangerous price action today. Okay, so we're looking for a short now. Now that we push down. Watching at the 21 EMA to see if we get some rejection. We do need to get a pullback there first. Yeah, for sure, Tom. The first buyers, they made a nice little move. They got their profits. But yeah, anyone who bought late on that, yikes. Just got their asses handed to them. I agree, Archer. It does look like an overshoot here. That was a very steep move to the downside, and now we're getting the snap back. Tradeovate's not doing so hot right now, eh? All right, sellers are back in business. We're going to be watching the low of the day and then the overnight levels. We already got a nice little scalp this morning, so hey, if we can walk out of today on a green note, be happy with that for sure. But right now, need to be a little bit more patient. This move down looks like it's been played out with a break and a new low. So we would expect perhaps buyers to step in here and make their attempt to push the market back up. And I think that'll do it for me on the YouTube. Headed over to the Discord, links below there. Again, you can get a lifetime membership to that with the purchase of the masterclass. All that information is in the links. Got that posted in the chat. It's been real with you guys this morning. Trade safe out there. We got some wild action, so don't blow up your accounts. Wait for the good setups. Trade small and have a good time. I'll see you next time. Appreciate y'all. Peace.